Tom Stewart is our guest today. And Tom, welcome, first of all. Hello.
Hey, Pete. Good morning.
Um, you and I was trying to think, you and I have known each other for what, 10, 15 years?
Yeah, something like that. I would say, yeah, less than 20, but more than 15. Yeah,
You were doing promotions, right? At
that's right.
BSM and Fun 107?
That's right. Yeah, I was promotions director for a couple of years there.
And your resume, you have quite the resume, right? Didn't you do traffic at one time?
I did. I was traffic reporter on Channel 10 News for like 4 years, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And of course, then there was radio. You
hmm
did the morning show at Easy 99.1.
Yep. Yep.
And
Did that for a few years.
I think I was your co-host on the last show, wasn't I?
I think you might have been actually. Yeah. Yeah. I think that was the last show.
Yeah,
Yeah. We got to do New Food Friday together,
that's
which was
right.
fun.
Tom has a
Yeah.
feature on Instagram and all the socials that he started on the radio, where it's New Food Friday, either
hmm
things you find or people tell you about, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Just weird new products that come out, like a new flavor of Oreo or, Hostess has a new cupcake or something. And, somebody's got to try it first. So I
Yeah,
try to
that's right.
find it and try it and let people know what to think.
Have you done this week's yet?
No, I haven't filmed it yet, but
Okay.
I do have something very interesting. I'll give you the spoiler. I haven't tried it yet, but it's
Okay.
jalapeno poppers flavored goldfish crackers.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty out there, right?
I like goldfish cracker. Matt loves goldfish
Me
crackers.
too.
Big goldfish guy.
Yeah,
Jala-
I'll go through a whole bag like popcorn watching a show or something.
jalapeno peppers
Jalapeno popper flavored.
popper.
Yeah.
Have you ever eaten anything where you regret the decision right after it? Anything really bad?
There's been a few really, really bad ones.
Wow.
Yeah, there was one that came. I think I did this one on the radio too. It was called New England lobster roll flavored Lay's potato chips.
I remember those.
You
Yes.
remember? Oh, that was real bad. That was
Yeah.
I have to spit this out. That was bad. Uh, and then just recently, last year, how they come out with candy corn every year.
Hmm.
Last year, they decided to come out with a Thanksgiving themed candy corn, and all the candy corns each separately tasted like something from Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh, wow.
So you had a gravy flavored one, you had a green bean casserole flavored one, cranberry sauce flavored one. Each one was worse than the next. It was
Oh,
just so bad,
oh.
so bad.
One of the things that I wanted to talk to you about was how did you get into stand-up comedy?
Yeah. Well, being funny, writing jokes and everything, something I've done my whole life. But stand up was something I always wanted to do, but I just never built up the nerve to do it. I would
Mm.
go to open mics and just watch. But then finally, one year, about 11 years ago, a friend of mine told me she had taken a comedy class. And she said, you should really take this class. You'd like it. She took it just because it was kind of a bucket list thing for her to try stand up one time.
Right.
But, she told me you should go try it because, you'll be in a room full of people that all think just like you. She goes, you'll really like it. And so she kind of talked me into it. So I took a comedy class with Frank O'Donnell and 8 weeks of that and just kind of honing the craft a little bit and learning some tips here and there. And I just never stopped doing it. Our final class was a performance at Catch a Rising Star. And I've just kept doing it ever since. And I think it was just what I was meant to do.
Now, what did they teach you in that class? I mean, they can't teach you how to be funny, right?
No, but they can kind of teach you. Frank's really a good joke writer, and he's been doing it forever, so he knows, little things like joke structure and what word would be funnier than another word, and there are different
Yeah.
formulas to it. And then he also, which was great, was he taught us stage presence. How to deliver a punchline, where to put the mic stand, things like that.
Hmm.
And it was really helpful, and it really kind of just brought me to that next level where I was ready. I wasn't afraid of being on stage, but I was afraid of bombing on stage. So that's what had kept me away from it. But yeah, from there, you never stop learning in comedy. So from there, I've just, every comedian who's been doing it longer than me, I kind of watch them, I kind of work with them. And, and now after 11 years, there are comedians who are coming to me and watching me and seeing what I'm doing. So it's kind of
Cool.
like that,
Yeah.
you know?
Um, bombing though is part of life, isn't it? When you're a stand-up comic.
Yeah. Well, yeah, well, in everything, really.
Yeah, really.
I mean, especially in entertainment, though, anything you do, you got to get used to bombing. You're never, ever just going to always hit a home run.
Right.
I've had millions of bad jokes and tons of bad nights and bad sets. And, you just got to get up there the next night and do it again,
Mm.
but it's the same with radio. You'll have bad mornings on the radio, and the next morning you just get up and you just, you try to do it again and do a little better and learn from it. It builds character.
Right. So, how does a routine come together? Is there an easy answer?
Not really. I don't know if I'm unique or if it's just the comedian kind of brain, but I'm writing skits and bits and everything in my head pretty much everywhere I go, everything I do. I'm looking for the funny and stuff. It just happens. Even if I don't want to, I could be at a funeral and I'm still, trying to write jokes in my head. It's just never ending. So it's just a matter of writing them down before you forget them. And, 95% of it ends up being garbage and you throw it away anyways. But that 5% or so, you say, all right, I might have something here. And then you take it to the next level. You try it on stage, you try it out in front of a crowd a few times, and then it kind of builds itself. It kind of forms itself as you keep trying it different ways. And eventually it just builds itself. And next thing you know, you've got a few minutes there.
Yeah. How many minutes do you strive for? Does it vary?
It depends on the show, what they've booked you for, I mean, I can do a 45-minute set if I need to.
Wow.
Which is, a typical headliner set. But it's funny, in this area, there are way more headliners than there are feature acts, which is like, out of three comedians, the middle one. So
Hmm.
I usually get booked in the middle a lot because there just aren't a lot of in-between guys for some reason. There's a lot of newer guys who can do that first spot. And then there's a lot of guys who are headliners. So, I have enough material to do it, but I'm usually in the 30-minute range. So it actually works out well because, my 30 minutes is pretty solid. So I know it's going to, be a good night most occasions.
So, do you have a set routine? Do you have different routines, or is it a different arrangement of jokes? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I have a flow of a certain routine where, I go from one bit and transition to the next and to the next. But I do have a lot of my bits for some reason work out to be right around 5 minutes long. So I'm able to kind of move them in and out when I want to, so if I'm
Okay.
bored with a certain thing, I can bring the next 5 minutes in instead. Or if it's a certain crowd and I'm like, all right, this crowd, they want the dirty stuff, I'll do the dirtier stuff and leave the cleaner stuff out, or vice versa.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I'm not like a storyteller kind of comedian, but I'm not just up there doing one-liners either. So it's almost like I'm telling you about my life, but I'm making jokes along the way.
And it's all memorized.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yep. Yep. For the
Wow.
most part, in the beginning, I used to bring some notes up on the stage.
Hmm.
Comedians have a great little trick when a lot of times when you see a stand-up comedian go over, take a sip of their water, it's not because they're thirsty. It's because they have a little notepad or a piece of sheet of paper underneath the water, and they're going over there to see, all right, what was I going to do next? It's like a
Yeah.
little cheat thing
Do,
there.
do you ever get lost?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just get distracted or, it's just you're tired or you've done a couple of shows already that night. But usually, you recover from it and nobody notices. But yeah, definitely I've been driving home going, oh my God, I can't believe I forgot to do that joke. Like I always do that joke right in that spot and I didn't do it, but
Wow.
sometimes someone in the audience will say something, distract you, or, a waitress drops a glass or something and, you don't know where you were, or you just lose the momentum and you just move on to the next joke.
Have you had to deal with hecklers? Do you welcome that?
I have had to deal with them and I don't necessarily welcome it, uh, because I feel like it can ruin the show for everybody else in the room.
Okay.
And and if most comedians, if you let their set go and you just let them do their thing, they're really going to be funny, and it's really going to be a great show. And heckling can really be a bump in the road. But I was fortunate because many years ago I used to work as an MC at a gentleman's club.
Oh.
And I learned a lot about hecklers from that, because my job at the club was to go up on the stage on a Saturday night in between dance specials that the girls would do. So my job was to work the crowd for 5 minutes until the girls could go backstage, get ready to come back out. So that's a pretty good way to be thrown to the sharks and not be afraid of being heckled, because you're in a room full of drunk guys who
Right.
want to see girls, and
They don't
I'm
want
on
you.
stage.
Yeah,
No,
right.
no. So
tell me about the fundraising that you're doing now.
yeah, I have a company called Funny for Funds. And what we do is we help people raise money for whatever cause they have by providing a comedy night fundraiser. So you have a youth sports league, you got to raise money for the kids to get equipment, or maybe you've got a Rotary Club, or an Elks Lodge or something like that, and you like to raise money for charities or anything like that, dance schools, things like that. Having a comedy night is so great because everybody loves to laugh, and it's a great night out for everybody. And so it's just kind of a great way to raise the money that you're looking to raise, and do it in a fun way. And with Funny for Funds, we actually help you with a lot of the other aspects of fundraising too. We don't just come and tell the jokes. We actually will work with you. We came up with a system that works really great to get sponsors and get raffle items and auction items. And we kind of work with you and consult with you the entire way. So it's a really good deal, funnyforfunds.com. And we have so much success with it. And I love it because I get to do two things: help people raise money and help make people laugh.
There you go.
So it's perfect.
And you make some serious money at these events too, don't you?
Yeah, the shows average like $5,000 a show.
So
But, it goes way higher than that sometimes too. Last month I did a show for the Bikers Against Child Abuse group, which is basically a huge bikers gang, an organized bikers gang, and they raised over $20,000 at a comedy fundraiser.
Wow.
That we worked with them on. And and just a week or so ago, I worked with the Fall River Police K-9 units, and they raised over $7,000 for their foundation.
Hmm.
We have a 4-tier system, and if you follow it and you listen to our advice and our tips and our suggestions, I can almost guarantee that you're going to make your goal.
Super. You are a busy guy. I mean, you've got the comedy, you've got the fundraising that you do, and also you are still doing your podcast, right?
Yeah, I do. I have a podcast, and it's funny because it has nothing to do with comedy at all. It's a total out of left field. I do a paranormal podcast. It's called My Paranormal Story. And I used to be a paranormal investigator at one time. I used to chase ghosts, and I have a lot of stories to tell from personal experiences and from experiences being on investigations at some of the most haunted places in New England. So, every couple of weeks, I tell one of my stories on the podcast, and people seem to enjoy it. I kind of try to make it a little bit spooky. So, it's got some nice theme music behind it, and I get to use my broadcast voice when I'm doing it. And it's gotten really popular, and it's time consuming. But during the whole pandemic, when I had nothing but time, it was great because I was pumping out the episodes and having fun with it. And now it's like I need an assistant or something because I'm trying to do so many things at once. But I love it. I get to be my own boss, work for myself, and I either make people laugh or make them get spooked.
There you go. So what's your schedule? Do you have some upcoming events where people can see you?
Yeah, well, let's see. Every other Thursday night, you can find me at Pub 65 in New Bedford. I host a show there, and that's been going really well. And I think our next show there is, let's see, October 14th.
Okay.
Will be the next show there. Yep. Oh, actually, let me see. What is it? No, we got one more on the 30th. I forgot. We have 5 Thursdays this month. So we'll do one on September 30th, and then we'll have another one coming up in October. And then I'm looking at my schedule right now. I've got a couple of Funny for Fun shows coming up. I've got a show at the Moose Lodge tomorrow night. Let's see. Oak Point out in Middleborough, got a show out there coming up. And the Lincoln Country Club down in Lincoln, Rhode Island, October 16th. Yeah, but you can go to tomstewartcomedy.com. You can check my schedule there and come and see a show.
Sounds great. Well, I can't believe the things. I mean, you worked for the Paw Sox, right? When they were at McCoy.
I did. Back in the day, I grew up working for the Pawtucket Red Sox, one of my very first jobs, and was still there as an adult years later.
Done so many things, and sounds like you're still having fun.
I am. Well, yeah, that's the key to life, I guess, right? Is to just have fun and, try and do interesting things. I don't know who instilled that into my brain, my mother or my teachers, but, I don't just want to work a normal job. I want to do something that's fun and interesting.
All right. So it's tomstewartcomedy.com?
Yes. Yep. Right. And the podcast is myparanormalstory.com. And then, of course, funnyforfuns.com.
Busy
I got a lot
guy.
of .coms.
I guess so. Hey, Tom,
I'm so glad to see you broadcasting again and doing shows. And, two guys who used to be in radio here. I love this.
There we are. Using the new technology now.
Yeah, the new medium. New medium. This is great.
Hey, Tom, thanks.
Thank you for having me.